Okay, a story that, I mean, you've been talking about forever, and I have been with you the whole time saying something doesn't seem to make sense here. Most dangerous place in the world is the U.S.-Mexico border. Now the Obama administration is going to get serious about it. He's going to send 1,500 National Guard to the border. Let me actually give you all the details. 1,500 unarmed National Guard volunteers. We have money to study the mating habits of Argentinian men in bars, and we have to ask for volunteers to protect our border? Let's bring in Michael Sheurer. He's the former CIA counter-terrorist analyst and the author of Marching Towards Hell. Michael Sheurer is a guy who I have disagreed with on many occasions, but I think he is an honorable man, and he never pulls punches. He'll tell you exactly what he believes. And, Michael, I appreciate that. I thought of you today. I thought, when I read this story, Michael Sheurer has got to be hemorrhaging, just having some sort of a brain aneurysm. How does this make sense, Michael?
It doesn't, Glenn. It is, you know, I'm so old, I remember going to school and being taught that a sovereign country controls its borders, not for racist reasons, but for reasons of national security. And this is perfectly consistent with Republicans and Democrats.
It is.
They send our soldiers into harm's way, and they're targets. They're not killers.
Yep.
It's an extraordinary waste of human lives, but, of course, the Democrats specialize in that.
Well, I have to tell you, and Michael, the reason why I really didn't like you the first time is because you started speaking out right after 9/11. I don't know, was it maybe a year after 9/11 or something? And you said, they're not serious about getting Osama. And I was still in the place where I believed the lie. And I listened to you, and I thought, how dare him say that? That's absolutely... But then I listened to you, and I believe you. We are doing the same thing. A lot of people, they watch, and they just think this show is anti-Obama. It's not. I was saying the same thing about George W. Bush about the war and George W. Bush about the border. It makes no sense.
Our governing elite does not care about the future of the American society or our country.
So, okay,
it's just simple as that.
That's a wild charge to make. So tell me what you think they are doing. What is their end game then? If they don't, I mean, to say the president on either side or anybody in Congress doesn't care is quite a charge.
Well, the component of that is they care more about their offices than they care about the American people. Listen, what the Democrats want is what Mrs. Clinton laid out when she first went to Mexico. She blamed the violence in Mexico on the availability of guns in the United States. What this is they're going to eventually move against the Second Amendment in the United States, which is the bugbear of all the Democrats. They want guns only in the hands of the government. And they will sell to the American people the idea that if we control guns more, Mexico will be safer, and there'll be less violence coming into the United States.
Michael, let me have this is a conversation that I should have with you off the air. Let me have a frank conversation. I think we are headed for extraordinarily dangerous times. I think we're headed towards civil unrest. God knows what. Please, America, please, please. Keep things under control and look at Martin Luther King and Gandhi as an example. Michael, you say something like that, and that's dangerous stuff to say.
Well, I think the founders, Glenn, went out of their way in the Constitution and the Federalist Papers to make sure minorities had a voice in our country and were protected from the oppression of the majority. It's a very odd situation, but now the minority, those folks who go to Harvard and Yale and the prestigious universities who think they know everything and who want the government to control everything, are in power. The majority of Americans who are just interested in security and getting by are being dictated to, interfered with, and generally neglected in terms of security by the minority that rules this government. It turns the founders on their head.
So these, I can't imagine who is going to volunteer for this, National Guard. I mean, I know a lot of people that would volunteer to go watch the border if we were serious, but to send National Guard down to protect us from violent drug cartels and not arm them and not pay them I mean, I don't even understand that. I don't even understand.
And ignoring illegal immigrants, Glenn. We're in the absurd position right now of having the Minutemen, who are private citizens and armed. If the National Guard volunteers get in trouble, private citizens are going to have to come to the aid of the military. It's an absurd situation.
And let me tell you something. If something happens down there, I mean, if I'm a National Guardsman and I was protecting myself, do you really think, I mean, I wouldn't trust that I wouldn't be thrown into solitary confinement for 2 months. These people will sell anybody out for their agenda. They don't care.
Glenn, the Republicans and the Democrats have both prosecuted U.S. citizens on the southwest border for defending their families and homes against violent illegal migrants.
Michael,
it is absolutely...
I tell you, you were in the White House under Clinton. You were in the White House under Bush. You are, if anybody look up Michael Sheurer. He's got quite a history. He has been around the block a few times. Do you really?
Well, I haven't been in the White House, Glenn, but I was in the CIA at a senior level.
Well, yeah, you weren't part of the. Yes, I didn't mean to say that you were working at the White House. You've been
no.
You've been in the White House with the president. You've been in the room with the president, and you've been making, suggestions. Do I have that right?
I have been with very senior people, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. So you have seen this. Do you really honestly believe that we have come to a place to where those very senior people in the highest offices of the land, Congress and the White House, really will not do the right thing in the end, that they won't see the error of their ways?
No, sir, they will not. The only chance we have as a country right now is for Osama bin Laden to deploy and detonate a major weapon in the United States, because it's going to take a grassroots, bottom-up pressure, because these politicians prize their office, prize the praise of the media and the Europeans. It's an absurd situation again. Only Osama can execute an attack which will force Americans to demand that their government protect them effectively, consistently, and with as much violence as necessary.
Which is why I was thinking this weekend, that would be if I were him, that would be the last thing I would do right now. Michael Sheurer,
absolutely.
As always, sir, thank you very much.